Hi, this is Brian. Welcome back to my shop. Let's talk about sandpaper today. In particular, let's talk about the Hercules brand sandpaper that you get from Harbor Freight. Just to give you an idea of how much sanding I've done this summer, I'm a pretty avid woodworker to start with, but I've been refinishing the cabinets in this house, and I've been sanding since June. And you can see what's happening now. Summer has slipped away. I want to put my hand in front of the camera. I have sanded so much this year. These hands have gone through a mountain of sandpaper. And only this week I decided to try the Hercules paper. And let's talk about it. My project looks like this. I bring a couple doors out to the garage at a time. I've enjoyed summer in this way. But each door gets sanded 5 times, both sides, before it's completely done. So I've done quite a bit of sanding. Let's go through the sandpaper. Today, for the first time, I'm trying Hercules. And I'm using 320 grit because I'm on my final sanding and final coat. So I have Hercules brand. We'll come back to that and go through the details. I've used Norton sandpaper this summer. 3M SandBlaster. And I've probably used more of this than anything because this is what's available readily where I live. And I've also used just conventional sandpaper. There's still place for that in my shop. Like I use it on the very first cut where you kind of maybe some greasy kind of stuff and the sandpaper just clogs up instantly. Use the cheap stuff. And the cheap stuff's about 50 cents a sheet. So I still do it. Woodworking is a hobby of mine, but I also have other hobbies. But that's not what this video is about. I use an awful lot of SandBlaster at $1.20 a sheet. I love the Norton, but it's $2.60 a sheet. And today I'm comparing the Hercules sandpaper, which is about $1.20 a sheet. The same price as the 3M. But I'm liking the Hercules. Hey, for one thing, I just like the color. It says 4 times the life. I don't know what that means. Everybody says something. Norton says 3 times. 3M, yeah, we believe them. 7 times longer. And on the back it says 7 times longer than if you use this stuff. Yeah, I'm not so sure I believe that 3M. Today's the first day I used it. I like it. I think I like it just as good as the 3M. It cuts really nice because it does say ceramic. Where did it say that? Right here. It's ceramic. I'm not 100% certain what that means versus what everybody else uses. Legendary performance. I don't know how it can be legendary. I think the stuff's relatively new. But yeah, what they say is true. It's pretty anti-clog. I've used this sandpaper for about 15 minutes. It's pretty clean. Extra flexible, certainly seems that way. Tear resistant, yeah, sure seems that way. Durable backing, and I like the backing on this. We'll talk about that when it comes to the 3M. Oh, and today I'm just talking about dry application. We're not talking about wet dry, just dry. I typically cut my paper in fourths the long way. And one thing I like about the Hercules is they really number their paper an awful lot. The 3M stuff I always have to label with a marker because once you tear it up, you lose track of what grit it is. So I'm telling you, this is the first time I've used the Hercules. It's not cheap. They don't give it away. Same price as 3M. But so far it's holding up just fine. I like Norton the best. and I think it's worth it. But for me, it's a little bit harder to get. I live in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, and I can get this at the Rockler Woodworking store, and certainly every time I go to there, I don't leave without buying more of the Norton. I think Norton is the best. So this is my first choice. 3M is what we get at Menards and Home Depot around here. They're really proud of their no-slip grip backing. I could take it or leave it. To be honest with you, it doesn't do anything for me. On the pad sander, though, my palm sander, the quarter sheet sander, that might be nicer. But today, everything is sanding by hand. I've sanded so much this summer, sometimes I get to the point I can't turn my phone on because I don't have a fingerprint anymore. But my review, and I'm reviewing Hercules against Norton, and against 3M, and even the regular 3M, the cheapy kind of stuff. This is okay, it has its place. I used to use it a lot when the Cub Scouts would come over to the house, and let the Cub Scouts use this stuff. This is certainly good. Nothing wrong with 3M SandBlaster. The stuff cuts real nice. It lasts a long time, it cleans. The Norton does everything wonderfully. But I think this Hercules is just as good, certainly, as the 3M. I'm going to use more Hercules. And that's my report. I think I like this stuff. It has a lot going for it. These doors were just sanded with the Hercules paper. With 320, I used 320 before the final pass, and I'm hand brushing this, by the way. I think they turned out just fine. Now, I'm not a paid spokesman for Harbor Freight, but I do use Harbor Freight tools from time to time. I use Harbor Freight products from time to time, because for me, they're easy to get, for one thing. And they have stuff. But I like the Hercules. I probably love the Norton. I probably use more 3M than anything, both of these types. So they're all good. I'm not saying anything bad about any of them. I'm just saying in today's review is I think this Hercules is as good as anything. Now, I probably don't need to buy a whole lot more sandpaper. I have a whole drawer of it. But you need a lot of sandpapers. Different kinds, different abrasives, different grits. And this is just what I have in the garage, too. There's a lot of wet dry in here. Maybe sometime I'll try the Hercules wet dry. But I have so much wet dry sandpaper, it'll probably be the rest of my life before I need to buy any more. Sure, I can take a couple minutes and brag about what I do. I've built many china hutches and matching sideboards and all kinds of things like this, boxes and stuff like that. I absolutely lost track of how many of these demi-lune tables I've made of various styles and different woods and different finishes. I mean, 24 of them, maybe more. One of my favorite projects is my 8-inch reflector f5.8 telescope. No plans, I just started building this one day, and this is what came out. This cherry tree fell over my friend's backyard. I made a chair out of it. Many long hours sitting in this oak chair during COVID, but now I don't sit in this chair anymore. Well, gee, 10 minutes sure goes by fast. Thank you for watching. And in the end, I think this Hercules paper is okay. And by the way, I just wanted to mention one last thing. They make Hercules paper for other things too, for grinding discs and sanding discs and stuff. Harbor Freight has that. And from experience, I know the better discs are definitely worth using. So, if you have to give this a try, give it a try. It's working good for me. Thank you, and goodbye.